Hi there. Welcome to day 18 of Learn 200 Important Idioms in 20 Days. Today's topic is idioms about numbers. But before we start, I'd like you to click the subscribe button down below so that you don't miss any of these videos. Let's look at number one. So number one is the 11th hour. When we're talking about the 11th hour, we're talking about the very last minute, coming down to a deadline of some sort. Let's say you're a student and you never get your work done ahead of time. You're always working on an essay to submit to your professor at the last minute. So you get your projects in or you get your assignments in at the 11th hour, at the very last minute before the deadline. So the 11th hour is the very last minute of something or a deadline. Number two is behind the 8 ball. If you're behind the 8 ball, you're in a really bad situation. Let me give you an example. Let's say you work at a business and you have so much work to do, but you don't have anybody to help you, and the boss doesn't have any money to hire somebody else to help you. So you could say, I'm really behind the 8 ball at work. I have so much work, but I don't have anybody to help me. And my boss doesn't have anybody to help me. He doesn't have any money to hire someone else. So I'm really behind the 8 ball, and the boss is getting really angry with me about finishing this work. So you're behind the 8 ball, you're in a bad situation, and you're not sure how you're going to get out of it. Number 3 is a catch-22. A catch-22, again, is a really difficult situation, but you need to be able to do one thing in order to be able to do something else. Let's say you're looking for a job, but people in the marketplace want you to have experience. And you say, well, I can't get a job because I don't have experience. And I don't have experience because I can't get a job. So there are two negative situations working at the same time, and there's rarely a solution to that. So a catch-22 is two really bad situations that are interacting in a negative way, and it's really hard to find a solution. Number 4 is dressed to the nines. When somebody is dressed to the nines, they're dressed really, really fancily. They're wearing beautiful, gorgeous earrings and a beautiful necklace and lots of jewelry and a really fancy dress and high heels. Usually when we're talking about someone who is dressed to the nines, we're usually talking about a lady. So she's really dressed, really fancily, something that you would not see every day, dressed to the nines. Number 5 is feel or look like $1,000,000. The word bucks is a slang word and it means dollars. It means money, dollars. So if you feel and look like $1,000,000, it means you're feeling great and you're looking fantastic. Let's say you've had an operation. Maybe you had some surgery and it took you maybe a little bit of time to recover from your operation. And after, 2 or 3 months, someone asks, well, how are you feeling? And you say, wow, I feel like $1,000,000. That heart surgery just revitalized my life. I can breathe better. I can walk upstairs, no problem. I can even run. So no problem. I feel like $1,000,000. Or if you're talking about somebody looking like $1,000,000, again, it kind of ties into somebody who is dressed to the nines. Certainly any bride on her wedding day, no matter what she's wearing, she probably looks like $1,000,000. She's so beautiful, maybe in a way that you've never seen her look before, with a gorgeous dress and her hair and makeup done, and she looks so beautiful and fantastic. She looks like $1,000,000. Number 6 is 15 minutes of fame. When we're talking about 15 minutes of fame, we're talking about a very short time that someone has become famous for doing something. It could be something that was really positive and fantastic, but someone can also have 15 minutes of fame for doing something that was inappropriate or unacceptable or even against the law. Let me give you a couple of examples of both. So if somebody gains 15 minutes of fame for something good that they did, maybe a video went online of them helping somebody on the street, maybe somebody who had fallen and they helped somebody up. They were like a good Samaritan. And they become famous because someone put the video online of their good deed. So they might have 15 minutes of fame from that. But let's say somebody else sees somebody who has fallen on the ground and they just walk on by, and that video goes online as well. They would gain 15 minutes of fame for something that they didn't do, or something bad that they did, which was ignore the person and walk on by. So 15 minutes of fame is a very short time of fame. It could be a day, a couple of days, a couple of weeks for doing something really great, or maybe for doing something that was not appropriate. Number 7 is 50-50. This can have a couple of meanings. It can have one meaning of splitting something exactly halfway. So let's say you're in business and you have a partner, you have a business partner, and you say, well, how are we going to pay ourselves? And you say, well, after we pay all of our expenses, whatever is left over, we will split 50-50. 50% for you and 50% for me. So it's exactly halfway. Another meaning could be maybe someone has to make a decision about something and they haven't quite made their decision yet, their final decision. So let's say you ask someone, so are you going to take the job that you were offered? You went for an interview and you were offered a job. And they say, I'm kind of 50-50 about it. I can see the good things about the job, but I can also see the negative things about the job. So I really haven't made my decision yet. I'm kind of, 50-50 about taking the job. They're not so sure yet. Number 8 is to kill 2 birds with one stone. So to kill 2 birds with one stone means to accomplish 2 things just through one action. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have some shopping to do. Let's say you have some grocery shopping to do, but you also need to go and buy some clothing as well. But you don't want to go to too many stores. So you're looking for a store that has both food and clothing. And here in Canada, we have stores like that. We have like superstores that are grocery stores, but they also have a clothing department. Maybe you have that in your own country as well. So that's what we say, killing 2 birds with one stone, going to one store and being able to do all of your grocery shopping and also being able to buy some clothing as well at the same one location. Number 9 is 9 times out of 10. When we say that something is 9 times out of 10, it means almost always. So let's say you see a friend in the mall or in a store or when you're walking somewhere in your neighborhood, and maybe you haven't seen him or her in a long time. And they say, oh, let's get together for lunch. We'll have to have a lunch date. And I'll call you and I'll arrange a meeting with you. I'll arrange a lunch date with you. And, 9 times out of 10, they probably will not call you at all. You might never hear from this person again, right? People always promise to call you, promise to go out with you, promise to meet you for coffee or for lunch, and you never hear from them again. So you could say, 9 times out of 10, people who say, oh, I'll call you, really never do. Almost always never do. And number 10 is 2 heads are better than 1. So when we say that 2 heads are better than 1, we're talking about collaboration. We're talking about people coming together, maybe 2, maybe more, coming together to exchange ideas and to find a solution to something or to figure out how to do something. So Two heads, two people making decisions or exchanging ideas is better than one. You might get better results that way, and you might get quicker results that way. Rather than somebody working alone, it might take a little bit more time to get things done. But two heads are better than one. It's quicker if people collaborate and work together. So let's review numbers 1 to 10. Number 1 is the 11th hour. You're coming down to a deadline, the last minute of something. Number 2, behind the 8 ball, you are in a difficult position and you're not sure how you're going to get out of it. Number 3, a catch-22. Two difficult situations, and again, there might not be a solution. You need a job to get experience, but if you don't have experience, you can't get a job. So two difficult situations kind of working against each other. Number 4 is dressed to the nines. When someone is dressed to the nines, they're dressed in probably a really expensive way. Beautiful clothing, lots of jewelry, lots of accessories. They're dressed to the nines. Number 5 is to feel and look like $1,000,000. You feel great. You look fantastic. Number 7 is 15 minutes of fame. You become famous for a short period of time because of something good that you did or something inappropriate or unacceptable that you did as well. Number 7 is 50-50. It has a few meanings. 50-50 means I haven't quite made a decision yet. I'm kind of 50% here, 50% there. It's going to take me a little bit more time to make a final decision. Or it can be about money as well. 50% to you, 50% to me. Exactly split in the half. Equal shares of something. Number 8, to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You're achieving 2 things with just one action. You're going to a store where you can do your grocery shopping and buy clothing at the same time, for example. Number 9, 9 times out of 10 means almost always. 9 times out of 10, people who say that they'll call you and arrange a lunch meeting with you, a lunch date, probably never do. And number 10, 2 heads are better than one. When people collaborate together, when they share ideas and share their efforts and their time, things get done a lot quicker and perhaps with better results as well. So that is numbers 1 to 10 in idioms about numbers. So thanks so much for joining me today. Remember to subscribe down below. I don't want you to miss any of these videos. Thanks so much. Have a great day.